Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to share with you a review on the ever so popular Clinique Moisture Surge CC Cream. You may remember this from one of my summer videos. When I first picked this one up, I was so excited about it because I had heard so many great things from those over in the UK where this first came out, and later on in the US, and finally in the summertime we got this in Canada. I was just stalking Sephora for weeks looking for this one until I finally got it in my hot little hands. And I've been using it on and off for quite a while, and this is one of those strange products that took me a long time to make up my mind about because I was really on the fence. It had some great merits but also some not so great things as well. But before we get into all of that, I'll just quickly show you the outside packaging. Iconic green Clinique packaging we've all come to know, and the inside is actually this peachy pink. Of course, it is part of the Moisture Surge line, so if you are a die-hard Clinique fan, you've probably used the Moisture Surge Gel Cream Moisturizer, one of their best-selling products, and this one was meant to go along with that range, hence the same peachy pink packaging. This is 40 milliliters of product in a plastic squeeze tube with just a simple nozzle dispenser. Really easy to use, very portable, not clunky, and great to throw into your makeup bag, that's for sure. This contains SPF 30 in a cocktail of chemical and physical sunscreen ingredients. We're talking octinoxate, titanium dioxide, octisalate, as well as zinc oxide, so providing both your UVA and UVB protection for your daily SPF. This is also an oil-free product, so if you are very breakout prone to oil ingredients, there's none of that in here. You can rest assured about that. This is also, again, as with all Clinique products, fragrance-free, which is probably one of the reasons a lot of people do tend to gravitate towards Clinique. Now this retails for, I believe, $35 USD if you live down the border. If you live over here like me, it's $39 Canadian. Available Sephora, Sephora online. Clinique counters across the nation should be stocking this, as well as Clinique online. As far as I know, there are 8 shades available. I have here the color in Very Light. I'll give you guys a swatch of the inside in just a second, but this is Very Light, the lightest shade available. 8 shades that goes all the way down to a color called Deep, which quite frankly, in terms of Clinique based products, they never go really dark. So if you are, say, you know, light fair skin, medium light, you'll do pretty well with Clinique products. But when it gets to the richer end of the spectrum, Clinique kind of falls off, you know, and it's not that great. But I will say that because this is a rather sheer type of coverage product, and it's not going to give you a lot of color in that regard, you can probably get away with using maybe even 2 or 3 different colors, and it won't be a significant difference to, you know, you're not going to look very terribly two-toned or anything like that. And of course, as always, you can mix this with a foundation if you feel like you need to adjust the coloring. That's what I always tell people when they ask me about CC creams or BB creams and whether or not they work for them in terms of the color, and if there's limited color variety available. So that was a lot of background information, but just a little bit more, and I'll tell you about the details of how this works. Ingredients list, as always, I will have this posted in my corresponding blog post, linked down below in the information bar. Pop that open, click the link. You'll find not only before and after photographs of me wearing this product, as with all of my product reviews, but the packaging as well as the full ingredients list, everything you need to know. Check that blog post out because the video is just part of the entire review. Now, all that out of the way, I do want to mention that CC cream in Clinique terms is actually called the Color Correction Cream. And compared to their BB cream, which by the way I haven't tried myself, this is meant to be more as a primer, as a color corrector for your skin day to day, as well as of course the SPF 30, whereas their BB cream is meant for those seeking higher coverage. This applies in a very interesting way because first time you put it on, you think it's a very creamy product and you think it's going to be super moisturizing. I mean, we are talking Moisture Surge right here. Again, the color I have is Very Light, and it looks like it's going to give you a lot of coverage, a lot of pigment as I'm blending this into my skin, or the back of my hand actually right here. Doesn't look too bad, right? But as soon as you kind of blend this out properly, the coverage goes down and you're really only going to get, say, a light coverage to possibly a medium at best, but no more than that. If you have spots or blemishes or scars that you're looking to cover, this product isn't going to do that for you. Now, I have the shade in very light. I'm a MAC NC15 to NC20 depending on the season, and this is a little bit light for me just because it does tend to go a tiny bit white in person. On camera, in a photograph, it's not quite so obvious, and in fact it photographs quite beautifully actually, as you'll see from my blog post photos, but in real life it does go a little bit light. So if you are debating between two colors and you just want to get one, I would say go for the slightly darker one if the undertone works for you. I ended up with very light just because the undertone was warmer than the next shade down. So in terms of, you know, brightness and whatnot, I probably could have gone with the second lightest shade instead. The interesting thing about this CC cream is it sets in a weird way. So I've got this, you know, kind of smushed around on the back of my hand, and once it's set, if I try to blend it again, it goes very, very patchy and very, very thick. In fact, the texture of it now, once it's somewhat smooth onto the back of my hand, really feels like the first or second wave of traditional Korean BB creams, that thick, slightly tacky texture, and I'm not a big fan of that. I find it hard to blend over the skin. If you are trying to make this work for you, I do recommend putting this over freshly moisturized skin, or mist yourself with a mineral spray or anything like that, Fix Plus, right before applying this BB cream. And I wouldn't suggest you rub this in like a moisturizer, but rather take a bit on the back of your hand and pat this into the skin and blend around the edges carefully. And once this does set, if you try to blend over it or if you try to layer more product on top of it, I do find that it does go patchy. Again, an issue with the texture that I have. It definitely can be improved in that regard. It doesn't sit well over dry patches. It's not particularly the best over pores either. You have to be very careful. So I would say if you do have skin texture irregularities, do take note of how this blends onto the skin, aka not so well. And if you do have dry skin, make sure you moisturize very, very well prior to applying this CC cream. Now, the color correction aspect, I do think that it works. I do think that it does a fantastic job at just evening out your skin tone without using a lot of coverage pigment. So without adding a lot of color, it corrects the color of your skin. Case in point, it does very well over redness. If you have skin sensitivity, your cheeks are always red, or if you have rosacea or anything, just red patches or areas of your face that you want to tone down, I feel like the Clinique CC cream does do a great job for that aspect. However, when it comes to actual coverage, spots, blemishes, things like that, it's not going to do well. You will need a concealer with this. And also, I find that with the CC cream, not only does it not layer well because of the texture, but also it feels a bit heavy on the skin. It dries to the almost velvety type of finish, which is great if you have slightly more oily skin and you're not looking for a super moist, glowy finish. However, because it feels a little bit heavier, it's not something I would use underneath other base products, or even under a powder foundation. This is not what I would prefer. There isn't any scent to this, however, it does smell, frankly, of sunscreen. It pretty much smells like the Clinique City Block, if you're familiar with that sunscreen type of scent. It doesn't linger on the skin, but because there's no added fragrance to it, that's what you're getting, that SPF type of smell to it. Now, when it comes to, you know, skincare, does this offer any skincare benefits? Because I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of CC creams out on the market promote skincare functions as well as, you know, color correcting. There are a sprinkling of skincare ingredients in here. We're talking squalene for moisturization. We're also talking aloe for soothing the skin and calming the skin. In addition to caffeine for firming the skin, is popular in a slew of anti-aging firming products nowadays in your skincare, as well as hyaluronic acid, which is one of my favorite things. It really helps to bind moisture from the air to the surface of your skin and keep it there. However, The rest of the ingredients list, as you will see from my blog post, reads pretty much exactly like a foundation or base product. I would not consider this to be a skincare product. However, I would say this is a color correcting primer with a sprinkling of added skincare benefits, but I definitely would not rely on this for any significant skin improvement. And in fact, this did not break me out, not with the SPF, not with the chemical SPF. No negative side effects to my skin after daily use. However, it didn't do anything great for my skin either. So in that regard, it wasn't a fabulous product. Not that it fell short of my expectation, shall we say, in terms of both the texture, the consistency, how this sat on my skin, the way this felt, which was a little bit heavier than what I thought it would be, the lack of moisture that this provided. This is more kind of preventative. It will help prevent your skin from drying out, but it will not, or at least I did not find this added any extra moisture despite the squalane and sodium hyaluronate that's already in this product. So for those who do have very dry skin, although this says for all skin types, I wouldn't recommend this to you. If you have patchy, dry patchy spots, if you're dealing with acne and breakouts, you have, skin irregularity in terms of texture, this would not be the best product. It just doesn't smooth over the skin quite as nicely as a lot of other offerings out there on the market today. In terms of how long this lasts and how it wears throughout the day, not too bad, 3 to 4 hours for sure, without having to do any major touch-ups. My only concern with this is that it does not seem to mesh well with my skin, unlike some other foundations or just base products. They blend well into your skin, they disappear. This one will sit on your skin a little bit. You can see it kind of float on your skin, and this is especially prominent when you start sweating up a little bit, if you're wearing this during the summertime, as I know some of you guys will probably think, SPF 30, great for the summer. I would say this is probably best for transitional weather, if you're going from warmer months to the cooler months in the fall, or from the cooler months back to the warmer months, in the springtime. This doesn't deal well with extreme weather in either end of the spectrum, but the transitional months, I think this will do quite well, and you wouldn't need to do a lot of touch-ups or anything like that. I want to say this does have a bit of a slightly pearlized sheen to it. You'll see from my before and after photographs that my skin looks like it has a bit of a shine, but this does not feel tacky on the skin. It doesn't feel moist. It actually feels like a velvety finish. Not too powdery, which is good, especially for those of you who do have slightly more oily skin, but for those with dry skin, maybe not the best thing to use. Overall, I would say great for color correcting. The CC aspect is definitely here. Very good for toning down any redness and just evening out your skin tone. If that's what you're seeking for an everyday type of skin correcting, this is a good one. If you're looking for coverage, not the best one. If you have acne or skin texture irregularities or any spots or blemishes that you're thinking this is going to help heal or help to cover, this is not it. If you want a really lightweight product that you can wear as a base, as a primer, and then layer other products on top of it, this is not the best texture for that. So personally, for me, after hearing everyone talk about it and trying this out for myself, it wasn't the greatest, and quite frankly, I'm rather disappointed by this. So I'm going to have to see how I'm going to use it or try to use it up. If you guys have great suggestions, if you love this CC cream, if you find that it's great for you, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and maybe I'll learn to love it, come the next couple of weeks if you guys drop me a comment or suggestion. Overall, I think this had a lot of potential going for it in terms of the color correcting pigments and technology, but it just wasn't a very well executed product, and therefore not my pick when it comes to a CC cream. So here you go, you guys. Clinique Moisture Surge CC cream. Those are my 2 cents or 5 cents. If you want the rest of the details, photographs, color swatches, because I know they look so much better in a photograph than they do on video right here, ingredients list, everything like that, click open the corresponding blog post below this video and you can find everything that you are seeking. So until next time, take great care of yourselves. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye bye.